too much.
Right, and we won't dwell on that subject because it's more to it than just, and that was just an example.
And then I'm not a boy, and I'm not a coach,
right.
and all of that. I am a girl, and
Right.
I'm glad you didn't coach my children.
Me too, from the sounds of it. Right. I don't want no parts of that in this whole. No parts. I wish I could have seen you run out on that field.
Yeah.
I wish I could have seen that. All right, moving on. Now, Heat, what do you think? What are your thoughts?
I just think that at what point, because I've heard parents talk to their kids like this, and I just don't understand at what point is it cool, because I've even seen some females do it to the point where, you know, they're laughing with their friends and telling their kids to shut the F up, you look like your daddy, you ugly. Like, that's terrible.
It's
because
terrible.
basically what happens is little girls seek validation at home. Well,
Right.
and so do little boys,
Right.
children.
At home first.
At home first.
At home first.
So if they're not getting it from home, and if mommy is always saying you're ugly, you're stupid, you're dumb, but little Johnny, when they get to 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, and now they starting to think about sex and stuff like that,
Right.
and he's saying, no, baby, you're beautiful, he might really just want the kitty, but she doesn't ever hear that she's beautiful until little Johnny tells her. So now Johnny is the savior and mommy is the devil.
Right.
So now you have, this is where it comes into play where, you know, you're having the teenage pregnancies and, you know, the woman that's out here seeking all this validation from this man because she's not getting it at home. And I want parents to understand it's more than you just being frustrated and your vocabulary being so small that these are the words that you use to your children, not thinking about it. This stuff is staying with them and affecting their entire life.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you. I just want to ask you something. So, have you ever said?
Put your mic up closer. I'm sorry.
Have you ever said any of those comments to your children growing up?
Absolutely.
Okay, because I thought I was up here tripping.
No.
I thought I was up here tripping because.
But when you know better, you do better.
Yes, ma'am.
And
Yes, ma'am.
Make sure
you
her
have
mic
to
is on.
develop some strategies that when you get to that place that you do some other things.
Hold on 1 second, guys. We're plugging her back in.
That you develop some strategies that when you get to that place that you do something else, or that you say something else, or exchange some words for the mean words, because you're only going to raise a mean child.
So what should you say when your child, I guess, I don't know, maybe misbehaves or when you get frustrated as a parent? What are some of the things that we could say that you feel as if it's safe to say those things and it's not a
Develop a
detriment?
structure, and in that sense, I mean, give them the rubric. Stay in the house. Do not use the telephone. Don't get on the internet. Don't watch television. And it's 4 now. At 6 o'clock, we're going to talk. So you take some time and you woosah out and develop some strategies. Okay, this is what I'm going to say. This is how it's going to be from now on. And then when you have that conversation, then it's accepted more. They know that you're not disappointed, you're not beating them down, and that when they have something to tell you, they'll be able to tell you. But if you're always, you know, hitting them hard, they don't know what's going to come out of your mouth, then when they have something very important, you're not going to be the person that they say it to.
Okay, and the reason why the reason why I asked you this is because even in the military, the whole mind frame is to break a person down and build them back up. Now, are we really preparing them for real life by I don't know if I should use
What
the
does
word.
the military have to do with the parenting?
Because, like, we're talking about things on that list that people say to their children and different things that people say to people and break them down or whatnot. And I'm just trying to figure out what I really want to know, like, what's appropriate and what's not appropriate as far as, because preparing your child for the real world, there's going to be times they might hear those things. And I want them to be, I would want my child to be prepared for.
Well, I think that we as parents need to understand too, you know, when mothers, how many mothers do you hear that have sons that say, I'm raising a man? I understand that, but you can't treat a 13-year-old the same way as you treat a 2-year-old. So you have to know within yourself that there are some things that he's going to do that, you know, a child does. Not necessarily a girl child or a boy child, but there's going to be more things that he might do. And it's like so many times I'll see parents saying, you know, don't do this. Girls, you know, boys don't do this. Children do this. So it's like you trying to raise this man when he's 2 or 3 years old. Now, I understand there are certain things that you instill within them at that age, but why are we trying to raise our kids to be adults so quickly?
I think that the entertainment has a lot to do with them being raised so quickly. One thing that is fashionable that has happened since dirt was cycles. And nobody takes the initiative to say, I'm going to stop this cycle. Cycles of abuse. My mother was abused, so I was abused, so my daughter is abused. So, you know, nobody knows. First of all, they don't have the strategies to stop. And then the second thing is, when you don't know how to do something, then it's easier to do it than not do it.
Right.
So the home is broken. Women have to love. They have to be the keeper of the children. They have to do everything. So they're broken. And when you every facet of your life you are beat down and broken, then why would you have a good message for your child? Everything runs all together. There are no lines, no clear lines that this is appropriate, this is not appropriate. Everything runs together. So then they create reality shows. So now we watch the reality shows and everybody desires to be on the reality shows and live the reality show life. We don't have the income, we don't have the financial backing, we don't have the connections to be the reality show. We just live that life, and all of a sudden our children are looking to others for the parental support. They come to school and they tell me everything. They tell me all of your business because they want to talk to you. But you have built up that wall. You, Chrissy, on Love and Hip Hop, and your children are irrelevant.
And another thing, I know we were talking about some of the things that they normally say, but another detriment to your child is the lack of communication to your child. Like, I was talking to some people on Facebook, and I was just saying that as far as the men, that if you're not calling your daughter every day and telling her she's beautiful, or, you know, when Valentine's Day comes around, you know, making sure that you're either hand delivering or getting something sent to her. Like, people are out here worrying about their significant others and, you know, trying to get the kitty and all this other crap, and you're bypassing your kids. You're not showing these little girls how a woman should be treated as they're growing up. It's like you almost completely ignore them, and then when they get older, well, why are they like that? Let's take this call. You're on Control Chaos.
Hi, this is Tiffany.
Hey, Tiffany.
I was calling just to, I think earlier you guys were talking about, like, what do you say to your child? And I think it's important for us to remember that it's not that we cannot, you know, tell our children about, like, how they're being, if their behavior is bad or something that they did is disappointing to us. But what I was saying on the chat was that we have to separate the behavior from the child. So, you know, it just hurts me when I hear parents call their kids stupid or, you know, tell them about themselves. You know, you can tell your kid that their behavior is bad or something that they're doing is disappointing, because that may very well be true. It's just don't tell them that they're bad, you know, because then they internalize that. And that just kept trying to develop who they are as they grow up. So I just wanted to add that.
All right, thanks for calling, Tiff.
All right, bye.
I think that's very important, but we're gonna talk more about that when we come back. We got to take a break. Also, when we come back, we're just getting started. We'll talk about the village versus the street. So before, it was acceptable for pretty much anyone to discipline your child. Now it's looked down upon. So when we come back, we'll talk more about that. You guys are on with Control Chaos on iWatchRadio.com. Make sure you go like the page on Facebook. We'll be back in a minute.